Welcome to TradeTheNBA.com. This is Jonas Reports for the 15th of March. And as the Ides of March are about to be full swing, we're not getting a whole lot of anything, at least change-wise. What we had was the breakout that led to this move to the highs, and then we retraced just a fraction of it to the key algo levels right here, supported right off that, and are back at the exact same high levels and just trading back and forth across that. Still within positive readings. In fact, we're almost about to get, we just have it there, negative 467 to 444. So cyan has moved under red from a daily standpoint. It doesn't happen that often, so when it does, usually it bodes well for additional upside potential. We've already had it under the NASDAQ from as early as the breakout started. As soon as we got the DOC, we had a little bit of fading, and as soon as that happened, we ended up with that turnaround of the reset of steel, and it crossed cyan really early, and that was part of that breakout move, and it's continued since. The euro, obviously now they've decided not to leave, or really just decided that they're not going to decide one way or another, and status quo is always good. Markets like status quo. It's a known. We like known things. Gold is a little bit tougher because it's not necessarily as known, because now people can't really decide, okay, are we having inflation? Is it going to be coming? You've pretty much seen the run up to it. Now you're going to have to build back through and determine how much impact that's having going forward. Oil and some of these other price increases are really going to have to solidify to suggest that you're going to see a punch. And with the ability of the U.S. to ramp up shale in that, energy costs, which tend to be big drivers, aren't really going to create significant spikes at this particular point. So again, the wage issue was what they were looking for, but with the last jobs numbers, there's a little bit of hesitation as to saying whether or not there's going to be consistency with that. So it was a kind of late day in the sense of overall volumes, but it did pretty much what we were talking about here. We ended up with that early morning move that was right in the middle of a spike, and came back, faded, made the new lows, but we were still within these reasonable ranges, and all I was talking about is from the broader, look at the 50K, from this broader move, we were just in this consolidation pattern and looking to be pretty much fit right within these ABM values, which is pretty much exactly what we did. We ended up broke down to a new low there. It produced decent configuration on a lower low setup with pretty much equal DOC red, which is always interesting. But if I'm going to play some of those longs, that's just going to be one of those where I'm just looking for a few points to the upside, and maybe if I catch a run, I can be able to do it. But a lot of times you know that those are just going to end up with this kind of back and forth movement. We ended up, though, with the nice P2, P3, gave the X's and all that, right as we were getting gold rising and positive shakeout, all the things that you would kind of like, and we were above the 23%, so boom. Got right up to the peak point here where we first produced this snake, which was right on the precipice. The next bar here after it, we end up with lower red, but the green moves back above. And you're caught between the 76 and 100. And from my view, right at the algo, it's a decent play because I know what I have is a stop from the 100 going up and then coming back down below the algo. And sure enough, it continued with the DOC spread, and that led to the breakdown. It took us all the way to the 23%. Couldn't really break below that. That was pretty much a fit here. Did not come and fill this previous positive dip below the red line over here, and pretty much maintained itself throughout, and ended up with gold right there at the 50%. Got the full reset. It was interesting because, you know, when you get this dip down, we didn't quite get the steel coming underneath, and that really led to a little bit more softness going through. until we ended up with that really clean dip of orange with the steel crossing over cyan. Of course, then green moved above, and that's what led to the takeoff. And that's where we're at right now, just exactly back at the same spot. So much to do about nothing, but some decent moves in between, just enough volatility that you could get a few points scraped here and there. Overall bias-wise, again, hey, you're below the 28.19, you can be short. Above it, it would be long. If you're playing for a broader viewpoint. So you do look at that 50K standpoint. It's a bit ambivalent now. It has moved below the zero line for the red DOC, which is an indication that maybe as we start to get to some of these highs, if we end up with any lower shakeout readings than above the plus 15, then there's a reasonable likelihood that we're going to get some more backfilling, at least tests of the ABM green, and maybe even down to that 76% back at the 2800. So keep an eye out on that. As always, though, if I have anything new or relevant that pops up intraday while we're looking at the trades, I will put it up there. Have a great weekend, and it'll be, well, for Monday, Isabella's birthday, so it's very exciting for her, turning 17. Such excitements. We will talk again later, and trade well.